Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mindsley, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. We're going to do the holistic review. That is for the DPH and that's for the FDA and the CDC. So I'm just kind of looking around and I'm trying to see in a row here and like exactly what's going on. But, and it looks silly and it really isn't. But when I'm seeing this, there's something about like new changes coming ahead. I mean, there's always changes in healthcare. It really is. It really is hard. But when I see it and I actually go through everything, you have to say there's something about like there was no deal. It's something that's counterintuitive. So I'm seeing something with like a surgical value. And when it came and like as always, it changes everything across the board. There was something about like something cardiac, something of what I as a nurse would say. Oh, they had a fempop, which means they had a femoral popliteal resection. And when this happened, like you could actually see it, like it was already known, it was needed, and when it was needed, like you couldn't really understand like the side effects after and the issues after. So when I look at it and I go, there's something else to it where you can't actually like go through it. Now, when I look at it and I say, no, 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 there's something else like coming in and coming through. Like as I'm like trying to as a psychic, like why would like the oil executives right now, like this meeting that they just had in Washington D.C. be related to like holistic? There's something of like granted wheel, and uh, something gold and something cold. It like something about spoiled milk down to like the meals in the hospital. Spoiled milk. I feel like there was like a delay. There was like a huge delay where like everyone in every discipline right now is seeing this delay and they don't know why everything is slow. So I'm seeing this monetary balance, something that didn't make sense. So I'm seeing this like person or many persons like looking through their hospital bills. They're like, why is this figure here? Why is this off? Like this just doesn't make sense. Call the insurance company and see how much like we normally do. And so when I look at it and I say, I can't even believe like how hard it is to actually like see and get it out. Like I have to say like this goes back to the time of like orderlies. It's like really really nasty justice. There's something about not sitting well. So I'm seeing like the normal complaints that they had in the hospitals, especially when I was a nurse. That when I look at this and I see like not like resting well, like restlessness post surgical, things that we were seeing this. Let's get this card on the ground. When I saw it when it came out, it was not the best of like when I would say justice for healthcare was the patient able to be like treated the way that they needed to be. It was everything and like back to like functional baseline the best that they could. So when I'm seeing it as like holistic, like there's something of a boiling point in the next week where when you look at the CDC and the DPH and the DEA and the FDA and all of this, you're looking at everything. They're like, why are we on like a common ground issue? Then you go to President Maduro. Then you go to United Nations. Then you go to this like, what is this common ground issue that makes it a war? And it has to do with timeliness of need. So, what do we need to know about timeliness of need and holistic? So something of like not of making sense when you see this and you see like the halt stop. So that's confusing. Um, to the point where it was like, why do I hear like rancid dictative? All right, emperor, and again like something of what like executives. Why would we see that? Why would we see that? recklessness. Yeah, we've seen like medical malpractice, separations. I hate to say this, it's a word. It's called dehiscence, and like dehiscence means like when your surgical wound, when it's supposed to be like nice and aligned like this, like you see your nice surgical cut, and then it like separates. That's a dehiscence. So you see this, and you see like isolation methods. I don't feel like when I'm seeing it, I don't feel like that's correct. I don't feel like there's like certain isolation. Was there like a wrong isolation method with this patient or many patients? I'm looking at like there's no teamwork. That is what I would call the nursing exodus, where nurses were so burnt out and that we had the shortage, but there really isn't a shortage of nurses because many of them retain their licensure after they quit their job. So when I see this and I see the star in reverse and I see the sun in reverse, it's like unfulfilled wishes, really, really unhappy. Absolutely. I'm seeing like paperwork is not right at times. I can see like they're like so like tired and burned out, even in the emergency room in many areas, that they're like on an autopilot. So they just go through the motions, which is not what we want to hear in healthcare. Healthcare is really one of those things where you have to walk in slow and gentle and kind with like easy, soft energy. And when you walk in with easy, soft energy, then you actually have to see like what is truly going on because these individuals can't get their words out. Nothing makes sense to them at that moment. All they know is that they're sick, they're injured, they're disrupted in a routine. They know that it's health related or anything of that measure. So when I see this and I look at this and I say, something is like well, slow, planted, manifested for it to be that way. I can't even see it as a second. Like I like just a glance and a look over. It's like that was like more than enough for me. All right, it's happened before historically in mediumship. It's saying Night of Wands. It's slow. It does remind me of like the time period of the 1200s of the 1600s and something like a knock on the door, like an offering of food, like a gift from a neighbor in a time of need. All right, let's look at the Pleiadian oracle. All right, rooted light and like something is like heard, something heard. Something of like alternative methods of healing. So I'm looking at that time period. I feel like people went over. There was music. There was laughter. It's a type of like elevating like vibration. They're showing me like the pot of water, like clay wheel, clay peel, clay meal. Like seal, like chancellor sealing, like with wax, decreed, and done. It was like a gentle approach, even like, why am I saying politics actually? Like walking in and knocking on the door. Something old of egg. Old of egg means that you can't actually delay it. So when they see one patient, they actually like get all parties involved and they sign and seal the deal. Something of these were like gifted individuals. I'm seeing like who actually like when I'm saying I'm like trying to slow it down in mediumship. It's coming in so fast. Um, uh, something about like it comes to mind. Universal knowledge, like it was like known, like a body response. Energy work, yeah, like they definitely had energy workers back then. It's talking about Michelangelo, and when I'm hearing, I don't know why I'm hearing Michelangelo, I and I'm like this, like I'm actually getting mad in mediumship. They're like spirits trying to put words in my mouth right now, and I don't like that. So when I do that, I go Michelangelo, which is they're like, no, that's Michelangelo, and I said no, Michelangelo. And when this goes, you have to say like there's something of that like matter, and you see like transmission royalty. They're showing me like brought into like the compound. Brought like these individuals are so sick they were brought into like royal compound. And like when you see this, like eyes change. Like there's something about the gifts of the eyes, like it changed, and you don't know why. Like how were their eyes gifted? I wouldn't say like actually there's something about creativity of a cutout on it. There's something about like enlightened gut, like their diet changed completely in eating. So when I see this and I see remembrance and I see like quantum heart, so then we go into the topic of quantum health here. So when I look at quantum health and I'm seeing Maroke as the energy, I have to say, what was like quantum health, as what we've talked about in many episodes, to quantum health in like the 1200s, 1600s. I'm hearing like regenerative repair. I'm hearing like all care, like all disciplines, like all ways of life of getting known that ill was found. So it's like they're saying there's something about like something criminal activity around ill health, sickness, and in health, to marriages, to partnerships, to contracts, to jobs, like the way it boiled out. So with that being said, let's look at another deck. All right. Um, so I'm looking at these instances. I'm seeing low socioeconomic situations, low education, low perseverance to a type of degree of like known to be a B. So I'm seeing like how in like sociology to like civil rights on how holistic is being disrupted. So there's something about a great expanse that's like new technology, and when I see a lantern, it's something like known at night. So that would for me, like as a nurse, would be like the circadian rhythm, which always kicks up around like 6 p.m. The huge changes. That's why we always had like a fever around 6 p.m. or a significant health change. When we had this is Untamed Venture, again, like something like kind of tinking around, slinking around. You'd have to say bacteria, could be virus, could be infection, could be an individual, could be anything. Environment of lawlessness. It goes me back. Why would I say goes me back? Goes me back. No, it's mediumship still. There's a type of trickery. It's going back to the 12 and 1600s. Something of flight of known. Something about a bird of flight of flew the coop when they were sick. Intellect. They noticed a degression of intellect when they were sick and injured. When you see this and you see white dress and you see appearances, society working togetherness, busy bees around, down to honey in their tea, like testing everything. Always know that honey is bacteriostatic. There's something about like a mystery. They would actually like see it, walk around exactly how you see in the movies. Like the physicians would only come in and they would only observe, and then they would like walk away. There's something about like you couldn't even eat pork. You were not allowed to eat pork when you were sick back then. Subconscious, they're always looking at the back of the head When I see this and I see teacup, eyes known, like watching the tea, like reading tea leaves, the senses, their appetite, wit and fun, like what type of humor are they like talking with you as a patient? Is their humor coming back? Like they were like down to the point of sour to stale when they're sick. When I see this and I see hedgehog, when I see rebellion, not even small animals would go near them. Only large animals. Loss, they talk about like everything, like picked it apart. I hear like high tune to fine tune hearing everywhere in there. Pond, I'm not seeing them go near water a lot to read. Like you could not go near reed, like in a pond. Like what were they craving? Like vision, like hallucinations, visual disturbances. And I hear like witchcraft was known. Witchcraft was known there. They would lock down, they're showing me like lock down a compound to healing, to bravery. They would actually call up arms when they see like house and you see the lantern in perspective at night. Like they always like heard and like searched at night of a glow of a night, they're saying. Like nostalgia, like old habits, old wives' tales, old like things they would do only at certain times. I see this transitions reality. They would actually watch like hourly. So that reminds me of the time of like going in and like checking hourly, like changing their positions, like every hour, like checking their skin because all of a sudden you're like, that's one of those things as a nurse. I don't know how this bruise got here, but we're going to document it right now because you knew at some point one of those patients are going to say, you gave me the bruise. So when that happens, you go, where did this actually come from? So this is something that like we saw out here in the community, out here in Connecticut, where mysterious bruises were happening and we didn't know why. And it was one of those things like I just don't understand why we had so much. There had to have been like at least like 35 to 40 people all in one area. Mysterious bruising. Arcturus energy, physical, emotional healing. It really doesn't happen often. It really doesn't. Soul plan, the fate of life versus death and life. Something like written and documented. I'm seeing more like post office. I'm seeing more law enforcement. I'm seeing like town hall, city hall, and I'm seeing like just normal restaurants and stores. Like something on that like normal mainstream, main street, main street. So whatever I caught in medium showed like it actually agitated me a little bit. Tall trees, palm trees. Something about like some of the names are coming up in mainstream media. There's something about luck resolved. I don't really like that. When I look at this, I see energetic stability and sorry, like that's just what we were talking about of like negative energy, and how it like toxic energy, like energy vampires. So that is why I feel like at some point with COVID, they had such a lockdown of like they like these individuals were just not healing right, and there was so much disturbances, so where they couldn't even sleep. So none of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. Yep. When you look on the unit and who's on the unit, how the nurses and the charge nurses and the physicians end up like locking the unit down. And when they lock the unit down, they're like, what is the biggest picture here? So when I do this and I say, like it comes to a point where you have to start limiting, and it sounds like nasty and it sounds greedy or anything of that matter, but we have to watch how they're sleeping. We have to, and it seems nitpicky, but they're here to rest. They're here to observe like what is actually going on with these patients. So if they keep getting disturbed, and that's like you can't even like believe it. So when you see this and see Pleiades energy, there's something about like a bigger picture, a bigger idea, even in 1200s and the 1600s. What do we need to know about for the next week that's getting picked apart even in Congress, which is normal committed hearings on a daily basis. So what I'm saying is we didn't pretend Kirk murder was okay. Yeah, I have to say that was true. That untimely death was so disturbing to the public that it happened. It says you'll survive this new solution. This here it is. This is the confirmation card. You'll survive this new solutions and beginnings. I feel like something is coming that like with AI, it happened and we really didn't like it. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. That makes me a little sour, even in my mouth. I'd say knock it out. Everyone's going, is this where we need to be? And you go, cosmic ancestors see the light by staying grounded. There's something about 1992, something about the Clinton administration, something about how everything was dead. Everything was dead. I don't know where that came from. Now, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. I feel like there's something about a community health basis and standard, not known, soul gifts and training. Yeah, I feel like there was something that's coming about. I feel like there's a huge merger about to happen with like Reiki and all of it. But then you merge and you have that paper document and then you have to actually build it out. It may take another like 2 to 5 years. So there's something about it that is like a hurry up and then slow us down, hurry up and slow down, hurry up and slow down. Because this is why this energy of this deck is pulse of the mother, slow down, and time and nature. There's something about being outside in the next 1 to 2 years, more outside, especially when you're able to in good weather. All right, Animal Spirit Oracle. What do we need to know about holistic, DPH, and FDA, CDC, community health? Wrangling. That's a Wrangler jeans. Like, I hear people like squawking, like chatter, like this all day long. I love this location. Rebirth, renewal, and then everyone starts going, are you sure we should be doing this? Something about out here in Connecticut when we had the water monitor out and loose, something about bites, like exotic pet bites. Firefly, elephant, bat, snake, lizard. These are like oddities in the community of like watching and being careful of like snakes and lizards and arachnids and other, like something about animal control too that's coming in hard for the next week of like paying attention to the bites. Why would our animals actually be like disruptive right now? I'm seeing elk, something old. So it's bringing me back to the time period again, to the hunt, to the stag party, to the when you see this, you see mouse. When you see phoenix, you see owl, and you see hawk. It's so old, like it's bringing me back to the Disney movie Sword in the Stone with Archimedes and the owl and the wizard. And the boy is like going and he's like sitting and researching all the time. You go to Nightingale and you see dolphin, child's play. But when I look at this, I'm just going to go from the split of the deck again. Something about like rare, very rare that comes in, especially with like children and elderly. When you actually sit and you watch with them, like you sit more as a clinician because you're actually gaining knowledge and information and wisdom. And when you look at it and you document it, like, oh, I've been through this before. You go through like 2 or 3 other patients, and you go, yep, I already know. Like other clinicians at these larger facilities, like the DPH, like, no, there's a trend. Like we've been studying this in a case. Okay, when you see this and you see Seven of Cups and you see the King of Wands, this is like an actual like put out to a snuff out because it's a juxtapose. And when you have this juxtapose, when it's a water and fire energy, it like smokes and like blurs it out. So then I go to when I see it as a psychic to Robin Thicke of Blurred Lines, and they talk about if it was stolen or not for him to be able to sing it. Frequency in her stole line, stone frequency, stole energy to the weakness. I feel like something actually happened in like over like many years, Middle East and other instances of military instances of frequency in hers and like vibrational that people are in like finally getting to see like what is happening. I mean, that's what I'm just seeing in Portland, Oregon right now. Like that is the type of energy that I'm seeing. It's really not to be scared. It's normal because people usually settle down in a day or two after it happens. So when I look at it on the far north side of Oregon, there's something like all of a sudden they can't eat carrots. And you're like, I just all of a sudden like I have no taste in my mouth for carrots. So when I see the Four of Swords, it's saying it will rest down. This is normal after a type of instance that happened in Minnesota. People are allowed to protest. They're allowed to use their voice. They're allowed to use their words and express themselves so everyone can see exactly what's going on. This is, again, like many psychics are talking about, the Empress is about divine feminine energy coming in. When you see Temperance, there's an imbalance of improper port and Poth and Perth and Potho, which is old Greek words of knowing it all. Like, I hate to say it in this way, I end up being like a bitch and a witch. And when you say it, you go like you can't even talk about like a know-it-all, a nosy Rosie. So where would that come from? You see the Two of Cups. There's a working in a partnership. I see two males in relation to this in healthcare. When I see this and I see the Eight of Wands to the Eight of Cups to the Nine of Wands in reverse to the High Priestess, there's a working of oneself. I'm seeing heritage, I'm seeing culture, I'm seeing communities. They're doing hoodoo, voodoo, juju, any type of those uh, um, like relaxation methods, drinking tea, doing exactly what their heritage and how they grew up. And there's really nothing wrong with it, especially in their own home, because it helps contain the issue and keep their home safe. It really doesn't like kick up or pop off any other instances in the community. They're allowed to do it. So when I see this, something about source, what we need to know about source. All right, let's go to the Akashic Tarot, and then we'll go to the runes. This one is a little hard, but it's right there, because we can see it. We can, like, it's literally going around. I'm hearing like it's happening all the time. You should have known. Again, like I'm seeing off the beaten path, path unknown, setting your course, like already known, like this is what was like best for everyone, and everyone's like, it's almost like normal contracts with hospitals and insurance companies, and they set it and they set what is allowed in your insurance for payment and all that, and they're like, oh, what's your payment source? You see this? You see will and wisdom and mind. The willow, something doesn't make sense. Something, there's like no trees. Something documented historically in the year 1230 to 1290. Something about Raphael. Something about Michelangelo. Something about, I don't know why I heard Nostradamus. Moon cycles, like actual, like astrological moon cycles affect certain people to the way of life, down to the choices of their shoes. So when I see this and I see the Buddha repairs, I have to say actually there's a type of like meditation classes that everyone goes to Asian, like I'm not trying to say it disrespectfully, I just can't even get it out. It's something we're reversing in time. Architect, something built up. I do see Egypt, but I'm seeing like South Africa. I'm seeing like a compound, political compound, 1800s. When I see this, you can walk there. It's easy. It's saying something about not safe, not safe, but it's like actual like turn safe. Something that is not safe there. Something not documented. The Queen of Forces in reverse. No power, no energy. I'm actually looking at like telephone poles. um, so with that being said, I have to say like there's something that is like popping off in course. So I'm seeing 1,000 border control. There's something about like 1,000. There's something about like agents. There's something about military. There's something about militia. Like common healthcare issue that pops out about the flu. And I have to say, the flu down to the chimney, down to the chimneys. Like there's are like reasons why we have regulations. When I see this and I see the light of the world, and I see the lookout in reverse to birth, something about being born, and like everyone, like it's just normal, like don't go near my baby for like so long. Like all of a sudden, mother's instinct and intuition kicks in. They're like, no, no, no. So when you see this Archangel Gabriel, you can't actually like go and see it, but that's his energy. Always know that he is known as a messenger. He's known as like fanning it through. He's known as like giving it through to be it known, and then stays at bay. That's historically, biblically. All right, let's go to the runes. And that will be it for today for holistic review. This one's a little bit of like a roundabout. Usually it's pretty straightforward. Poplar wood. What do we need to know for holistic? Something about coming through like resolutions and ways to take care of like the burn piles. I'm seeing like military and those at the burn pits issues. There's something about water, like they have a lot of issues being around water and ponds. When you see this and you see like havoc, like they fray out. You see this is like highly instinctive, and then they'll just go do something. These individuals affected, something about like living on it, like something within them, continuance on. Something about that's the room for about the issues with like how they had to take care of the trash. When you see this, there's something about solidarity about this. There's something about that's why I'm like I feel like spirits I'm trying to say like watch their retirement funds start like they're trending with their um, their bank accounts and their spending and stuff like these veterans. There's something about a gift, like they get a gift and it's like destroyed within like 2 to 3 weeks. It seems like child's play, but it isn't. At night, warrior sword, faded. There's something about like a tax review with them. There's something about like a hidden game. It is fun and it is innocent. Like it actually relaxes these guys. And when you see it, it comes in strong. When you see this, it's like there's a type of it comes in like they come in really strong. These individuals. It's part of like a PTSD therapy. There's something about like defense, and you see this, and you see like warrior, and then you see like a type of turn and a turn of luck down to like butter, and you see joy, and you see like again like I'm seeing like their cigarettes and cigars like being put out. I don't see like a whole lot of drinking. Like I'm seeing it like in multiple areas. Like it works really well for them, and like for them it's like Valhalla, and for them they can like reevaluate everything, but it's so like nonchalant. Like it something about like collecting. Like they're recollecting energy. Like they're rebuilding their energy in many areas, and it actually goes to like others like a community watch. I feel like in like 2 or 3 weeks you'll see a little bit more, but it really does help resolve the issue with the burn pits. Like and then driving around after, like like it makes them like feel better when you see this. Like they're like reborn, and then it like soothes them. It's odd. It's odd on how it is. So being like a firefighter, like EMS, I'd have to say those who were exposed to like house fires and stuff like that, they actually have to sit and settle down in a different way as victims also. And when this happens, like they actually like being alone and like being quiet. They like driving about. They like all of a sudden they'll go and they'll play a game like a board game. And then when this happens, it settles right down. So, anything else that we need to know for the next week for holistic? I'm hearing like, just like watching like carports. It's watching like everything as it moves on by. And then when you watch it and it relates to like COVID and flu and pneumonia and like all these ways and down to alternative methods of healing about like a merger coming in proper with paperwork down to like the like little nitty gritty down to these instances of protests. Like I don't know why they go watching the next week with like protests and like how if the protesters are outside, watch their health over the next week after they've done this and see what actually comes out of the incidents of what happened to this woman and this federal agent. And that's really all you need to know. So with that being said, that's all we have to say, and that's all we have to do for today. Any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll talk to you soon.